but the veteran just doesn't understand Martin Luther King and what Martin Luther King stands for. In the spite of much public circus system ideas, Martin held his ground. So Coretta did. You can believe in peace at home and not in international peace, Coretta stated publicly. In defense of her husband's philosophy. He could not be a true follower of the nonviolent philosophy. He could not be a true follower of a nonviolent philosophy. In the Condon War.
The what?
The Condon War.
Condon War?
No, Condon War.
In the, let me see.
Condon War.
In the, and could not condone.
I said that.
Condone. Not condone. Condone war. Okay, start that whole sentence over.
He could not be a true follower of the nonviolent philosophy in the Condon War.
And condone war.
You think of him as a politician.
Can you read a little louder?
A politician. He feels that as a minister, he has a prophet role and must speak against the evils of society. He sees war and evil, and therefore he must condemn war.
Just read a little louder, please.
And speak out he did. I fought too long and too hard, and now against segregated conditions. End of my segregationing memorial concerns. Exclaimed, but I know justice is invisible. Injustice anywhere at the threat to justice everywhere. While some of his fellow ministers and so-called friends criticized Martin, others agreed with him. Stokely Carmichael, a new young black man spokesman whose angry, hostile demands for black power were just starting to receive some supported Martin's position. Soon the phrase of black power was an important part of the vocabulary of the late 1960s. More established black leaders, Bayard Rustin, Floyd McKissick, and Benjamin Mays. Also supported by Dr. King's anti-war view. As spring turned into summer, Martin was still under fire for his position against the war. But now major riots had damaged several big cities.
Do you know what a riot is?
What?
A riot is when the people start running out on the streets and start breaking everything. Like they start going crazy because they're mad. They're mad about something. They're mad about the injustice of black Americans and minorities. So they run out the streets and start breaking everything: windows, cars, trees, setting things on fire. Just like full chaos. Like when you watch something on YouTube and it's like all crazy going on, and all the little people are running around shaking cars and breaking windows and throwing bricks at each other and stuff like that because they're mad, you know?
Yeah.
And they're super mad. When people are super mad, they don't know how to act. You know when you get mad and you start throwing the baseball bat and stuff like that, get all crazy, right? Okay, that's what if the whole city did that? That's a riot. So they're mad that there's injustice and they're going crazy. But they're saying that kind of contradicts what Martin Luther King's trying to do, because Martin Luther King's about what? What is he about? Peace, yeah.
And he centered his attention once again on violence here at home. I condemn the violence of riot, he told the press, but I understand the conditions that caused them. I think we must just be concerned about correcting these conditions.
torment means like you're bothered on the inside. You know?
Yeah.
Torment and rage. Rage means really mad too.
Some people's rage were encouraged by the speeches being made by Stokely Carmichael.
Stokely Carmichael.
They trapped Brown, increasing the boldness of new political group, the Black Panther Party. These young political group, the Black Panther Party. These young men and women saw themselves as the children of Malcolm X, the outspoken
well, go ahead.
Black Muslim leader.
Okay, so the Black Panther Party. Okay, so Martin Luther King is one group of people. Remember, he had the Montgomery, Freedom Alliance and stuff like that, right? So now there's another group of people. So Martin Luther King is about peace. He's a black man saying everybody should be peaceful, and then that's going to get things back fair. While the Black Panther Party, Stokely Carmichael, is saying, nah, man, let's fight. Let's fight the white people. Let's fight. Let's fight. He wants to fight, bro. He wants to fight. He don't want to be peaceful. He's saying, let's fight, and let's burn, and let's show them that they must make things fair. That's the Black Panther Party. And in Malcolm X, they're saying he's the offspring, like the children of Malcolm X, not literally the children, but figuratively. Like they're saying, like, there used to be a guy named Malcolm X who is in another story that we'll probably read. He's very famous. He's like Martin Luther King too, but he wanted to fight. So sometimes some black people want to fight. They didn't want to just wait for peace. You know?
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead. So that's the Black. Have you ever heard of Black Panthers?
No.
Well, you know the movie
Black
yeah.
Panther.
Yeah. Well, they made a movie kind of. It's not the same, but there's a movie. Yeah, Black Panther. Go ahead.
Organized another demonstration. Yes, and it's going to be a big one. Martin agreed we should call people from our poverty-stricken areas from everywhere in the country.
Poverty-stricken means we should call all the people from the poor areas.
People only not from the south, from the north. 2. People had no jobs. People had no resources. But where would this all take place? Coretta asked. We ought to get them marching right into Washington, D.C., Coretta, Martin said. I think it would be a really highlight into this entire issue. The government can't possibly fail to see so many people gathered along at once to be heard. Not just black people, gathered all people at once to be heard. Not just black people, all people who deserve a better life. American Indians, Puerto Rican, Mexicans, poor whites. It would be truly be a poor people's campaign, Coretta.
Campaign?
But how would such a major action as this be financed? One answer Martin was to begin National Speaking Tour, which he did in the fall of 1967. The tour was a few weeks when it had to be interrupted. Martin had to serve five-day jail sentence in Birmingham. Back in the summer, the Supreme Court had voted to uphold a conviction that Martin and others were found guilty in breaking the law with their demonstrations. This was Luther King's 19th time behind bars, and it could not have been the worst time. Disappointed by setbacks in the civil rights movement, other black leaders disagreed with him, and harassing by the FBI. Martin experienced about a way the gloomy outlook. Upon release from jail, he started speaking tour with vigor. About person, he was exuberant, full of spirit. On February 4th, 1968, Martin Luther King addressed his congregation on El Ben-Hur Baptist Church with words that seemed to predict his own fate. If any of you are around to meet my day, I don't want to have a long funeral, and you get somebody to deliver my agalogue and tell them not to talk too long.
My eulogy. Go ahead, though. Tell them not to talk too long.
Well, not to mention that I have a Nobel Peace Prize. That isn't important. There's a picture.
Okay, I got it. I got it.
Let's actually look at it.
I'm looking. It's a video.
No, the picture.
I saw the picture.
Seeable.
I saw it. It was nice.
No,
Nice picture.
that's not important. Tell them not to mention where I went to school. I'd like somebody to mention that day. Now, Martin Luther King tried to give up his life serving others. Tried to love somebody. But there's too much to do. Too many things to pull together, and the Poor People's Campaign was going to have a lasting impact on really mean something. For millions of poverty-stricken people hoping for a change. On February 23rd, Martin took out some time to honor him. Then W.E.B. Du Bois during a stop in New York, although he was busy meeting with key organizers about campaign tactics. King participated in a 100th-year celebration honoring the memory of Du Bois, whose scholarship was contributed are very there. Most Guam were black had gone on strike after the city refused to recognize the newly formed union and the demands for higher wages.
Okay, let's stop there. All right, we'll pick it up later.
Bye-bye. I think this is 9. Bye-bye.
Okay. Let go. Yeah, let go.